Gems family, what's going on? This is Life with Marlene, your Florida vlogger. Appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much for your support, all of those things. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We made it halfway through the week. If you're working or school or whatever, I want to say hi, and I hope you guys are doing great. I hope your week is going great, for whatever it is that you're doing this particular week, whether it's vacation, working, hanging out, all of that. So let's get into this topic of talking about what are some things that you won't put up with. What are some things that you won't deal with now that you're older that maybe before when you were younger you would. Um, my whole thing is that I think when I was younger, I didn't understand that I had a choice, and we do. You have a choice. I have a choice. We have a choice on what we do with our life. We have a choice. Yeah, and we have more power than we think, and we have more power than we believe. And I know for me, I didn't think that I had power. We feel sometimes we don't have the power because of a financial situation or when we deal with negativity. But, we have to learn to work on our own self. I had to learn to switch the negatives into something positive. No matter what you went through, no matter what you dealt with, no matter how other people view you, you have to work on how you view yourself. And I'm always going to put out there self love, self awareness, body positivity, learning to love yourself. And if there's something that you don't like about yourself, having enough courage to change it, whether it's your weight, it's your mindset, it's something physical. But let's get into talking about this. What are some things that you used to put up with before that you don't put up with now? And I know for me, my biggest thing was now I don't put up with disrespect. When I was younger or before I knew myself and loved myself, I would put up with disrespect. I would let people talk to me any type of way, all kind of crazy ways, and just not say anything because I don't know. I don't know why when you're in that zone of letting people run over you and being like a doormat, why do we allow people to run over us and use us? Hi, dentist. How are you doing? Why do we let people run over us and use us? I don't know. We shouldn't. And that's what I want to say to all of my GEMS family. Don't let people run over you and use you. Um, Hi, how are you doing? I don't even know how to say your name. Welcome, everybody. Hit the like if you want to and subscribe if you want to. So that's something that I didn't know, that I had the possibility of changing my mindset. I had the possibility to love myself. And most of us, we look for love in the wrong places, or we feel that people love us and care for us. And I had to learn that not everybody that says that they cared for me actually did. And I had to really pay attention. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for subbing. Not everybody who says that they care about us actually does. And it's hard. It's tough when people are very rude to us, you know. Uh, hey, Chill Will crew, how are you doing? Welcome, Charlene. I appreciate you. Happy Wednesday. Hope your Wednesday is going amazing. Charlene says, hey, Marlene and chat, I don't put up with disrespect, lies, and trying to use me. Exactly. This is not that anymore, only because of my heart. They kept trying to take me for granted. Yes. Hi, Soundwave. How are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. And they say people just use your kindness as an advantage. Yeah, don't they? But the thing about it is people can only use us if we let them, right? And do we let them? That's the question. I had to really learn to ask myself that too. Do I allow people to take advantage of me? And then ask yourself why. Do I feel like that's all I deserve? Do I feel like I can't do better? Do I feel like I can't live without them? There's a lot of reasons why we put up with things when we're younger or before we know ourselves and have enough confidence to say, I don't have to take it. And that for sure took me a long time to say to myself, I don't have to take, poor treatment. I don't have to put up with disrespect. Learn to find your voice and speak up for yourself. And it's not just for, or respect is not just for our romantic relationships. All of our relationships deserve respect. People need to respect your time, respect your opinions, or just respect you in general. Sometimes when we have our relatives, right, family, quote unquote, as some people call it, relatives just, I don't know, they just don't understand, they don't get it, that they can't talk to you any type of way, or the only time they want to talk to you is when they want some money from you, when they have their hand out and they give you a sad story. And that's something that I don't put up with anymore like I used to when I was younger. I would, like, somebody would say, hey, I need you, and I was right there. I've always been the loyal person, but I had to learn who to give my loyalty to, who to give my time to, and who to trust. Not everybody who is smiling in your face is giving you that same energy, that same time, that same respect, and that same loyalty. So that's something that I learned as I got older, as I got wiser, as I got in tune. Hey Edward, how are you doing? Welcome. Um as I got tuned into myself, I had to learn to that it was okay, you know. It was okay to not get everybody's support. No, that's okay. It's okay when people don't like you. It's okay when people don't want to support you. Just let people be who they are, and then whatever, like whatever. It doesn't matter. We have to stop giving that power to people that they don't deserve. That's something that I had to learn as I got older, as I got more mature, as I became more confident, and as I became more of who I'm meant to be in this life. I had to learn that I don't have to listen to people's negativity. I don't have to think how they think. I don't. And that's called personal alignment. When I became aligned within myself, knowing myself, respecting myself, learning how to set boundaries. So, yeah. And that's something too that I learned as I've gotten older, wiser, is that boundaries are important. Yes, facts, Edward. Boundaries are important. It's important for us to have boundaries and for us to also enforce boundaries with other people. And sometimes people will feel like because they don't agree with it, because they don't like it, that they don't have to listen to. Of course, people are grown and they do not have to always listen to what we say, but you're definitely going to respect me or you're going to stay over there. There's a lot of things that we can do as adults to enforce our boundaries and to tell people, this is how I feel, this is my opinion. And it's not asking that much for people to respect you, that you don't always have to agree, but you don't have to disrespect me too. You don't have to stab me in the back. You don't have to talk about me behind my back. You don't have to be disloyal. There's certain things as aspects of being a human being that every single human being deserves. But like I said, you live and you learn. Sometimes you got to grow into your own skin. You have to grow into learning to be confident, to still push through even when other people don't like you, don't support you, don't this, don't that. You have to learn. Mm. Hi, Sasha. How are you doing? And they have a problem with personal space. Yes. So, that's a very important thing as well. Yes. Yes, always glory to God. How are you doing? Welcome in, everybody. There is one thing I always say all the time is you got to know yourself. And until you learn to love yourself as a woman or as a man, you are not going to ever be happy. And one thing that I had to learn as I got older, mature, wiser, is that you don't actually need people. You could want people, right? You could want people to be in your life. You could want people to support you. You can want people to love you or to be your friend. You can want things to work out. But if the math is not mathing, if you don't feel good when you're around these individuals, then have enough courage to walk away. And that right there took me a long time to like really cement that in my mind that I don't have to explain who I am, what I want to do, what I choose to do with my money. Like some individuals feel that they have the gall, the nerve to tell you how to run your life because maybe they're older than you. Maybe it's a relative, a auntie, a cousin, somebody, even a sibling. Hi, hi, paper. How are you doing? Yeah, cut those ties. Yeah, you could find freedom all the time, every day. Um, and that's something that is so important. I don't know how to say your name. Paper Max, how are you doing? Welcome. Um, that's something that I didn't understand. I had to learn to find freedom in me, in my own life, my own opinion, and know that that's okay. It's okay for me to just be myself. So, the same thing to you all. I always talk about that all the time, to say to every single person when I do coaching, when I have friends on my social media, I tell people all the time to know yourself, know how you feel, and to be confident in that. Don't change your thoughts, your life, and your opinion just because other people don't like it or accept it or are on board with it, you know? Hey, Lara, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Appreciate you being here. How are you doing? So that was something that I had to learn and grow into as I feel like I got older, as I got wiser. I know everybody's experiences is different, but I'm definitely a person who I share freely and transparently things that I have grown into. And I feel like that's my superpower. Some people are ashamed of their past, and I'm not, because my past has made me to be who I am today, better, stronger, happier, more joyful, and can recognize, you can recognize, you can feel that the energy that's negative, that's a person who's playing games with you. And that's another thing that I have learned to recognize as I've gotten older, is to just let myself be, who I am, and to not apologize for that. Don't apologize to be yourself. Don't apologize to be happy. Okay, you can call me paper. Okay, okay. How are you doing, Squeech? How are you doing? Soundwave says positive words and channel Miss Marlene. Thank you so much, Soundwaves. I appreciate you guys being here. And what time is it where everybody is? Is it morning? Is it afternoon? Is it nighttime? Let me know. But at the end of the day, that's something that I think that every single person needs to learn to be happy. And 12:40 New York City. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Edward says 11:40 a.m. in Dallas. Okay, Edward. It's morning now. Okay. All right, Lara. Right now it's 12:40 p.m. in Florida. So, that's usually the time I take my hour break from, you know, whatever my schedule from my coaching, and I put into my YouTube. I take breaks throughout the day. I take a break for this channel, I take a break for my other channel, and I take a break for the other channel just for a few minutes so that I can also continue on with my YouTube in between my coaching and my other ventures that I do on the side. But getting back to the topic today about things that you learn as you get to be an adult, and that is definitely one of them, is really paying attention to how I feel. And I don't mean to be like in your feelings. Hi, Johnny. How are you? Welcome. I don't mean to be like in your feelings, crying and stuff like that. I mean, when you feel something doesn't feel right, paying attention to that gut feeling, that gut intuition, like, this doesn't feel right. Or someone says something to you and you don't like how they say it, but you know you don't want to deal with that person anymore. As I've gotten older, I've learned to trust that. Hi, Raymond. How are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you guys being here. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to take a sip of water, but I'm still here. Yeah, that's something that I had to learn too. I had to pay attention to how I was feeling. And for sure, how I was feeling was right on track. And when I was definitely younger, I used to think it was me. And yes, sometimes it can be us. It can be us making a poor decision. It can be us not paying attention to people's energy. But then we can't do anything about what other people do. And that is something that I had to learn as I've become an adult. Johnny says, I'm doing fine. Thank you. Hope all is well, Marlene. Yes, all is well here. Thank you so much for asking, Johnny. I appreciate it. What's everybody doing today on this Hump Day Wednesday? So I had to learn to be more and more unapologetically me. And I love that for me. And I love that for anybody who has the courage to just be themselves. How you look, how you talk with your story, and learning to use your gifts. I think that's a superpower. The majority of people out there are sheep. They just go through life and they don't really live it. They just feel like, oh, this is all I can do. This is the best that I can do. And they settle. And as I've gotten more mature, more in tune with me, more into being a confident woman, I know that there is nothing that I can't do. And that's one of the reasons why it gave me the permission to start my business. It gave me the permission to cut off and block all negativity. And that took me a long time to say that even if somebody was my blood relative and they were not pouring into me, if anybody in my life is not showing up for me, not supportive, I don't feel good energy and good vibes when I'm around them. If I don't feel encouragement dealing with individuals, I cut them off. And that's not just relative. That's in the workspace. That's in friendships, romantic relationship. It covers all relationships. If you do not feel supported, if you do not feel encouraged, if you're not being elevated, if somebody is not telling you, you can do it, I'm here for you. If you don't feel support, you need to walk away and leave those people. And I think from my background and, my childhood experiences and the people that I've dealt with in the past, they always had made everything about them, right? And you can be in that perpetual cycle of just listening and believing that you are the summation of other people's hopes and dreams and intentions, and but you're not the summation of other people's hopes and dreams and what they believe about you. You are what you make yourself to be. And at any time in your life, you can rewrite your story. You're the author of your life. You're the one that has to make a decision. I don't like this, and this about my life. And then having enough courage to do it. And that is what I'm talking about. And those are the things that I share on my channel. There's a lot of things that I have been through in my life that people wouldn't understand. People think sometimes because you're in a space of positivity or growth, or maybe, you're not struggling like you used to be, that you don't have problems. One thing for sure that I have learned is that the problems don't stop. But as I get older, more mature, I learn to not let the outside influence and control my mindset, my peace, my happiness. Don't let material things, don't let people's opinions, don't let your financial situation, don't let your health define how you feel about yourself. Because there is going to come a time where maybe you're not going to be able to make moves like you used to. Maybe you're not going to have certain people in your life because people eventually will pass away. you know, as I've grown older and wiser and learned to be myself unapologetically, I had to learn that no matter who is in my life, I had to not only like me, I had to love me. I have to have my own things that I'm involved with, and having enough courage to use my talents. And I can say that the majority of adults do not use their talents. They have hobbies, they have dreams, they have goals, but they don't have enough courage to live their dreams. And I know I used to be there for a really long time, just doing the ordinary, just trying to get by because that is all I thought I could do. See, as I've gotten older, wiser, loving myself more, really getting to know myself and healing my inner child. And once you heal from what other people may have said, once you heal, your past, you're able to live in the present with, vitality, strength, courage, and faith. And because I possess all of those things, and because I believe that, I allow myself to shift my life. I allowed myself to shift my mindset. And that is something that when I was younger, I feel like my mindset was based on who I was with. I let friends, quote unquote, which were not friends, trust and believe, those were frenemies. Those were fake people. And I had to learn that I can't be what other people are, or I don't have to move at the rate and mode of other people around me, that I can surpass them. I can, I can do something different. And it doesn't mean I don't care for people and love them, or think I'm better than them. I'm just using my gifts. I'm just loving myself. I'm just being my best. I'm being confident. And it takes courage to do that. I'll say that. As an adult, I've learned that as I've gotten older, it takes more and more courage to do things because to it's so easy to be discouraged. I will say that, I'm not clowning anybody, I'm not making fun of anybody, but it is so hard to keep yourself encouraged. It's so hard to stay confident. It's so hard to maintain, you know? Hey, Sirius, how are you doing? Welcome. It's so hard to be able to maintain and to, be our best. Yes, real talk. Real talk. Um, Charlene says it's so important to love ourselves more. That's when you can focus on if a person is mistreating you, or you can call them on that because I think you mean we love ourselves. We love ourselves more than loving the next person more. Yeah. And that is one thing that it took such a long time for me to be in that mode to be able to recognize the smoking mirrors, not walking around with rose colored glasses, walking around smiling, talking about, oh, they love me, or this person loves me, and this person, you don't know what other people's thoughts are about you. All we know is how do they treat you? How do they show up for you? And let that be the proof of making a determination. Is this a person I want to keep in my life or no? And that took me a long time to be able to get to the space to say they don't deserve my friendship. They don't deserve my time. They don't deserve my heart. They don't deserve my money. They don't deserve all type of things. And I feel that we give so much of ourselves away to people because of whatever reason. People pleasing, buying friendships, not wanting to be alone. We make so much sacrifices for other people, but they're not making sacrifices for us. So I had to learn to eliminate that. As I became a mature adult, I learned, like, who needs them? Forget them. They can go. You know, sometimes people is in our life for a season, yes, and it's important to know when people come in our life what really is the reason. Are they there to heal and help, or are they to hurt and teach us a lesson? And that's something that I had to learn for myself, that when people come in our life, it's not that they come in our life for good intention, even if they say they are. You really have to pay attention to energy and to their actions. hmm Yes. Hi, Sirius. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Appreciate you being here. I hope your Wednesday is going amazing so far. Mine is going great. Yeah, but it definitely took me a long time to get into that space and mode of learning that it's okay for me to vibrate higher, that it's okay for me to be by myself. It's okay for me to, you know, start over and over again. Hey, Real Odds and Evens, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. It took me a long time for me to get to that space to say it's okay for me to restart. I don't know about you all, but it used to take me a long time to restart. Like, I would be in my feelings, I would be upset over and over again. Why did they do that to me? And why did they treat me that way? And as an adult, as a mature adult, it took me a while to get to the space of saying that it's not about me, you know? It's not about me. And not everything that happens to us means that people are doing things to hurt us. Most of the time, people don't even care about us. And not that they don't care for us, but they're just trying to live their life. They're on. trying to live mode. They're trying to cope with life. And it's not a personal attack. And I had to learn that as I matured as a woman, that not everything is about me. It's not about me. We think, oh, they did this and they were trying to hurt me. We don't turn everything into a personal attack. That will lower your vibes. That will mess with your mental health. That will stop you from being happy and focused and having joy in your life. And life is too short to not have joy, to not have purpose, and to not live your dreams out loud. We don't know how many days we have. Our days are numbered, but you got to make sure that you're the one that makes a choice to choose yourself, even if nobody else chooses you. And I tell you, it has taken years and years of therapy, years and years of faith, years and years of working on myself and talking to myself and speaking over my life to actually one day get up and believe it. That even if you could be around supportive people and encouraging people, but if you don't learn to be confident, if you don't learn to love yourself, if you don't learn to be your own best friend, to what avail is it? To what is it going to do? I hear people say that all the time. I love myself. Oh yeah? Well, how do you treat yourself? You know, you could say all day long, I love myself, but then how do you treat yourself? How are you eating? How are you drinking? Like, what are you feeding your mind on? Who do you call your friends? How do you support yourself? And how do you let yourself reset and shift? Thank you so much, Sirius. Hey, Realist, how are you doing? Happy Wednesday. I hope you're doing good. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. What's going on this Wednesday? And let me know in the comment section, what are some things that you have learned as you've become an adult? I want to hear some of your life lessons, some of your personal growth and development things. For me, it took me a long time for me to be unapologetic about what I choose to do with my hair. And I know that many women who have textured hair, you know, multicultural hair, you know, people, it's not just Africans, African Americans, it's anybody who has textured hair. That took me a long time to be able to accept it. And I'm still not all the way there, but at least I feel like if I want to not have my hair, you know, I want to have my hair out, I can without feeling strange or weird. A few years ago, there's no way you would have saw me out with my natural hair in its curly state. There's no way. But it shows your personal growth and development that whether you have those attachments, and I say ladies and gentlemen too, however your hair is, you know, learning to accept your hair. Yes, I wear wigs. I am a straight natural. Most of the time I wear my hair in an oppressed state. I don't have any relaxers or chemicals in my hair, but for the most part, I prefer straight hair. But I do have my times where I will wear my hair in mini twists and braids, and I'm in a phase of my life where I'm about to transition my hair into a completely natural state. I've talked about this over and over again, that I'm preparing myself to go into my locks stage, and I'm trying to make a decision how, like the size of my hair, if I want to have sister locks, micro locks, traditional locks. I don't know yet because my hair is fine in texture. But I said all of that to say why I'm saying all of this is I want to speak to a man or a woman maybe that looks like me, that maybe they've been hiding their hair. And sometimes it's not that you hide your hair, but you know, being busy, you know, you put the wigs and the units and this and that. And that's all well and good. I'm here for it. I'm happy for you. But make sure you're taking care of the hair that you have with those units, because working in the beauty industry for a while, and I'm also a licensed esthetician working with skincare, I've seen that people do not take care of their hair. They do not take care of their skin. They don't take care of their nails. And as I'm getting older, it's like you don't have to have anything, you know. You don't have to have the fake nails. You don't have to have, the polish and the makeup. You can just be completely natural, but in the natural state, still make yourself look good. Um, I've said that time and time again. I'm so saddened to see younger generations, or even people who are in my age group, and they still have not, they like, they go out just any type of way. Like, they don't go out and dress themselves in a manner that begets respect. And I grew up with that. My mom and my dad were immigrants, came from Jamaica. And we weren't rich, but we weren't poor either. I think we were in between. I grew up in a middle class family, the last of 10 children. And my mom and my dad, while we may not have had a lot, I think maybe growing up, I probably had 2 to 3 outfits. I think all my siblings, we all had like 2 to 3 outfits. So not a lot, but not little either. But one thing my mom always used to say, don't let people make a judgment about you based on looking dirty and unkept. And I've always kept that in my mind. I have to respect myself, even if other people don't. You still, people can disrespect you even when you put yourself together, but you got to have confidence for yourself. So I say that to all the ladies. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what weight you are. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. I'm always going to talk about loving yourself and treating yourself as a queen or a king. To the ladies, you are a queen. To the men, you are a king. Respect yourself, okay? Don't go out looking any type of way. I feel so sad when I see ladies outside in a bonnet. Breaks my heart in a million pieces, okay? You don't do that to yourself. And I know people get busy and stuff, but it doesn't take much to, even just fix yourself up, toss that wig on, put some lotion on. Gentlemen, please, this is a PSA. The summertime is here. Gentlemen, please put some lotion on your elbows and your kneecaps. And it's your friendly esthetician making a personal request. I see it all the time. Please, to all my men, as my mama used to say, do not go outside looking like cement. Hello. Please, to the men, I even say some ladies, don't go outside ashy. This is not cement season. You take a shower, please put some lotion on. Please, please. I'm asking, I'm begging, even a little on your face. And ladies, even if you don't have a lot of time, comb your hair, brush your teeth, put some lip gloss on. It doesn't take a lot. You don't have to spend millions of dollars. Hi, Fluffy Colt. How are you doing? Lara says the truth. Sarah says, Marlene, when I step out, I make sure I'm looking my best. You never know who you will meet. Your first impression is your last. Yes, it is. And that's what I've always said. Even when I do my streams, when I do live streams, you are never going to see Marlene come on live in a bonnet. And it's no shade to anybody who does it. Your channel, your life. Do what you like. But I'm just saying over here, I speak to all my gems because we respect ourselves. You know, I speak to you all like you are my friends, like you are somebody that I would coach. Respect yourself. Ladies, put yourself together. Gentlemen, put yourself together. This is a channel where we beget respect. Because if you want something out of life, you got to look like you deserve to get those things. See, and because I am a confident woman and I believe in myself, I'm going to spread that out there and to say that too. Because I love myself, I put myself together. And the same thing, ladies, because you respect yourself, put yourself together. You know, and I wouldn't say this on the outside. I wouldn't say this on my motivational channel. But ladies, please stop looking like a hoe. Okay. I wouldn't repeat that back. But I'm just saying. Don't try to look like a hoe in these streets and then expecting to look like wife material. I'm just saying. You know, I've said that in coaching. I've said that other people. I just gave you a free gem, ladies. Let's get away from the dressing like a hoe. And the same thing, like I've said to my other guys, like when I coach men, if you want to get a certain thing in your life, if you want to elevate your business, if you're looking for to settle down in a relationship, look like what you want. You have to show up for the life that you want. If you want to be a wife, you got to dress and act like a wife. If you want to be a husband, dress and act like a husband. If you want to be an entrepreneur and a businessman or a businesswoman, dress like the life that you want. I'm just saying, you know, walking around with your pants dropping off, you know, black flip-flops and white socks. I don't know if that's a Florida thing. I'm so over it. You know, walking around with, you know, everything showing and then think that that's super cute. You know, to each is her own, but don't dress that way and then wonder why people are disrespecting you, why people judge you. If you look like you just rolled out of a trash can, I wonder why I can't be in a relationship. I wonder why nobody wants to date me or marry me. That may be your answer. If you look like you rolled out of a trash can, I don't think people will take you seriously or want a future with you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just the messenger. If you look like garbage, you treat yourself like garbage, you're going to get garbage. When I learned to treat myself, I am a queen, so I treat myself as a queen. Same thing to all of my, you know, the guys, the male. I don't do anything gender specific and say, oh, women have to dress like this and guys can do whatever they want to, because I see that too. I see ladies, they spend time, you know, putting themselves together, hair done, nails done, this and that. But then they forget to work on the most important thing. You can be beautiful or you can be handsome on the outside, but who are you in here? What's in here, ladies? What's in here, gentlemen? Do you bring something to the table? What type of friend are you? Mother, father, brother, cousin, entrepreneur, business person? Do you keep your word? Yeah, that was something that I had to take a deep breath on, you know, like, and really learn that. Sarah said, period. Realist is laughing. Real odds and evens. Put some of the targets in here. Edward says, okay. Siri says, most women are under the assumption that dressing inappropriately will get a man's attention. They are downgrading themselves. Yeah. I've said this so many times. And I know that I'm probably going to get an email because almost every time I do a live, I get an email from somebody who's upset and in their feelings because I said it. But I'm still going to say, because Marlene's going to say what she got to say because I'm a messenger. Okay. Um, just because you have the right to put something on, it doesn't mean you should. You know, ladies, you got some flaps, some rolls. Nobody wants to see that. Okay. Okay, guys, if you got some, where you need a brassiere, nobody wants to see that. Cover that up. Put on a shirt. Okay, have some class and some dignity. Okay, work on your body. Work on getting fit and taking care of yourself. You know, I'm not a person to judge people. I'm not. But I always want people to like wake up. Don't think you can destroy your body by eating all these things, being lazy, not exercising, and feeling that everybody wants to see it. I don't want to see rolls on your body. Cover that up. I don't want to see it. And I'm not hating, I'm not being judgment. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the rolls on your body. I don't want to see your ashiness. It's like, come on, ladies, come on, gentlemen, let's do better. Let's be a role model. Okay. Hi, MC. Hey, Anthony, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Happy Wednesday. But I'm just saying, I feel like there's not a lot of women who are like me. I wouldn't say I'm outspoken, but I'm a confident person. And that is something that I've learned as a woman. I've learned to be me. I've learned that it's okay to speak up and to voice. And if I don't like something, then I don't like it. And don't try to force yourself to like it. And that is what happens sometimes. Yes, I'm doing good, Anthony. Day by day. That's what I always say. You know? What they say, what is the French saying? Petit en petit. Little by little. Small little steps at a time. Day by day. I'm still a woman that I grieve every single day, but I don't let my grief overwhelm me and overtake me like it used to. I turn my grief into my power. Yes. Every day I turn my grief into my power. Yes. Progress, not perfection. I love that. Yes. And good for you too, Anthony. I'm proud of every single one of my GEMS family. It's not just me. See, we're building a positive community. Everybody is different, but at the same time, we're all the same. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. We all get discouraged. But I want to encourage you guys to take care of yourself in here and in here. How you look on the outside, even me, I had to kick myself in the butt and say, girl, what are you doing? Put down those snacks and ice cream and cookies and all of this junk food and put some a salad on that plate. Walk away from that fried food. Everything in moderation. I grew up that way with my Jamaican mother. It's nothing wrong with it because Marlene's not going to turn down oxtail and festival and mashup. I'm not gonna turn that down, but I don't do that every single day or every week. That's a monthly treat, you know? Yes, sugar is absolutely terrible in every way, isn't it? And that is a part of resetting my mindset, resetting my focus in my life that I think a lot of people they want to believe that something, I don't care. I don't care if that's not good for me. I'm going to do it anyways. But then later on when you get illnesses, sicknesses, your body starts breaking down, you gain a tremendous amount of weight. Now you're like, "Oh, I'm so depressed." See, I would rather be uncomfortable now than be comfortable later. And with that, I mean, My dad always raised me to say, your health is your wealth. And I'm telling you, to anybody, if you're young, if you're a person who's like under 30 years old, that means you're young. And you have so much potential. Try to unlearn bad habits now, bad behaviors, and replace it with some good and positive things, because I'm telling you, it's me, even me till today. Every time I go out, I feel like I have to have something fried, something sweet, something sugary, and I'm trying to unlearn that and replace that with eating at home, something healthy, something baked or something grilled. It's all about some good things. Sirius says, it's the stigma of what society wants you to be. Some people roll with it without lacking careful consideration of how they want their reality to be. That right there, Sirius, that was a message. Let's applaud for Sirius. You did a big one on that one, Sirius. That was good. Um, People don't think about the repercussions of their actions until the reality bubbles to the surface. See, I think when I was younger, I never used to think about one day I would get older. One day I would suffer because I made this choice, or because I didn't drink enough water, or because I wasn't getting exercise, or because of the way that I treat people. You feel like when you're young, you just like, I don't know about you all, but when I was young, I'd be like, screw this world. I'm going to do what I want to because it's about me. And I know I'm not the only one. It was all about me, very selfish, inconsiderate, just like whatever. I did what I wanted to do because it was all about me. And I don't think in my mind I was saying that to myself, it was all about me. But when I look back at my actions, I absolutely was that person. And it was because I had a lot of unresolved issues from my childhood and trauma. And I never had worked on having my own like ideas and being confident, and stop waiting for other people to be on board, and to make my own self be on board with my own goals and my own dreams in alignment with God. And once I learned to switch that around, to stop putting so much power and energy into what other people think, and then ask myself, what do I think, and what is God's alignment? What does God want for me to do? And then having enough courage to do that. That's what I had to do. I had to shift my life. Yes. Discipline is painful, and the very thing you don't want to do is the very thing you need to do. It's not, that's so true. It's so right. Because I know every single time it's time for me to go for a walk, I always make an excuse. Every single time I say I'm tired. Every time it's time to exercise, I'm tired. Oh, I think I'm just gonna lay down, or maybe I'll do it tomorrow. No, and I talk myself out of that. When I don't feel like going for a walk, I tell myself we're only going to do 15 minutes. And most of the time I wind up doing 30 minutes to an hour, because all it takes is getting started. For me, the hardest thing about exercise is just putting on my sneakers or my workout clothes. That's the hardest part. After you start doing it, it's not difficult. It's just letting yourself do what you need to do. The same thing with starting a business, the same thing with getting healthy, the same thing with starting to drink water and to have healthy habits, living a healthy lifestyle. It's all about your mindset. And I'm telling you, when I shifted my mindset, which did not happen overnight, I don't care what nobody says, affirmations and all of that stuff is nice and good, but I had to get healthy with therapy, with self honesty, with, healing my inner child, with stop blaming other people and get in the driver's seat of my life, and learning to rewrite my story. I want you all to know that, to all of my gems, You are the author of your life. If there's something in your life that you don't like, have enough courage to change it, shift it, pivot into what you want. If you want to do something, then go for it, you know? But that does take courage. The advertising and social media makes bad foods very tempting. Hi, James. How are you doing? Welcome. That is so true, James. And I know for me, because I'll be chilling. And don't y'all find that as soon as um it's about dinner time, you get apps from DoorDash and this place and that place, or it's on the TV right during dinner time. Get a pizza and show the a pizza with the cheese melting, or a big ice cream cone. All of the things that is not good for you. You really don't see them putting out there a big salad with all the things in there, or some grilled food. No, you don't really see that much. It's a really good thing that you have to have power and control over that. And for me, I had to learn to prepare for the life that I wanted. I had to start preparing meals and not just waiting until I get hungry to eat. Because if you wait until you're hungry to eat, I'm always going to eat something fried. I'm always going to have a soda. I'm always going to be unhealthy. But when I plan and I only keep healthy things around me, I become healthy. So keeping water there, keeping, healthy options instead of bringing garbage into my house. And I hate to say food is garbage. Forgive me, God. But bringing unhealthy things into my home, I no longer do. Chips and cookies and candy. I'm the person that if I'm out and about, like go to the grocery store or something, I'm out and about and I want a cookie, I will buy a cookie, but I no longer buy a package of cookies. I no longer buy a package of chips or ice cream and other junk food, because garbage in, garbage out. But if I want a cookie or if I want a scoop of ice cream, then I'll eat it. But it's not going to be go back, go back, go back, go back. Yeah, we're not doing that. Thank you so much for that thought, James. And welcome in. I think you're new here. Welcome. Thank you, Anthony. Hi, Miss Emma. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Hey, Delvin. Blessings, blessings. Hi, Jesse. How are you doing? Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Hi, Adventures with Roxanne. Long time no see. I hope you're doing great. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it. What are you guys doing on this Wednesday? Um, AMC says, I really started cleaning up my life this year. I was in a polyamorous relationship with a husband and a wife. Even though it was going good, I didn't think I was on the right road, so I broke up. Okay. As you know, you have to know how you feel. Don't let anybody tell you how you feel. I remember when my coach used to always be like pouring that and pounding that in my head. Know how you feel. When something doesn't feel right, trust that. But when I was younger, more selfish, more immature, we put things in our mind, and we tell ourselves that things are good when they're not good. We say things are good when they're bad. And when they're bad, they're good. We do the opposite of what it is. But the reality is, we know when something is not right. We know when something doesn't feel right. We know when something is not a positive vibe. We know when we're not growing places. But it's about us having the courage to go through with it. I broke up with them, started eating right again, and going to the gym and taking care of myself. Discipline is everything. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'm going to put my phone on the charger, turn my camera off, but I am definitely still here. We're going to continue the topic. So I had to say this to everybody, to make sure that you are doing what you need to do for yourself. Okay? Okay. Now I can put this back on because I have to put my phone on the charger. So, make sure that you're doing what you need to do for yourself. And nobody can know what you need in your life but you. I've said that so many times. You got to know yourself. You got to know your life, what you want, know what you desire as an adult, as a grown woman, as a grown man. Don't let nobody tell you how you feel. You know how you feel. You know what you need. You know what you're going through. You know what you're dealing with. You know what your financial income is. You know when you're happy in whatever relationship that you have to deal with. And you know when it's time to close out a relationship, friendship, romantic, job. You know when you're not growing somewhere. You know when you're unhappy. Don't lie to yourself. That's something that I had to learn as an adult. I had to learn to stop playing myself. Don't play yourself. Oh, you're working, Anthony? Okay. That's what I had to learn. I had to learn to stop playing myself. Don't play yourself. You know? Don't be, you know, you know. We know most of the time when something isn't right. Don't play yourself. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Ladies, you know, you know when somebody is not a good person to be in a relationship with. Fellas, you know when somebody is not a good relationship, it's not a good fit, you know? You know when somebody is using you. You know when someone does not care for you and about you. You know when somebody is using you. But the question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let people keep running over you? Or are you going to have enough courage to walk away? Are you going to have enough courage to walk away? Yeah. And that is where the elevation begins. That's where your peace will come in. That is where you're going to get, you know, the fire to be able to take you into your power, into using your talents, into letting you find out what you're supposed to do, what's going to be your passion in your life. I know that the painful situations, the things that people did to me in the past is what has helped me to be who I am today. I know if I wasn't taken advantage of, used and abused, disrespected, called all kinds of nasty names. I've been called everything in the book. So when somebody says it to me, that's not new. And I don't have to respond to it. See, I know when somebody says something to me that's derogatory, you say, I know what zone and space they are in because I have been there. I don't let other people and what they think about me to stop me from doing what I need to do. I don't let other people's opinions be my opinion, okay? You may not like me. You may not want to be around me. You may not vibe with me. It's cool. We're all adults and we have to make a decision about what we want to do with our lives. So, I feel like this is a great topic and discussion. Thanks, guys, for tapping in. I most definitely will try to tap back in on tomorrow. I'm trying to work on as often as I can my watch hours. Y'all know who are content creators. This 4,000 watch hours is a beast. And I got a long way to go before I get there. I still got about a little under 800 hours I need. So, because I had started slacking and I had stopped going live and my hours went down again. But I'm coming back. We're going to stay consistent. But I wanted to say to all of my Gems family, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter who you have in your life, make sure you have people who are supporting you. If they're not supporting you, they're bringing you down. Don't let people cause you to spiral down. Don't let other people cause you to have a break in your mental health. You deserve better than that, ladies and gentlemen. You're a gem. That's why I call all of everybody who watches my channel a gem, because you're a treasure. If you really knew how valuable you are, if you really knew how high you could vibrate, would you? You got to be strong. You have to be courageous. Got to believe in yourself. Know your worth. Don't let other people tell you who you are. Get up, wake up every day and make it happen. Be the man or the woman that you deserve to be, the man or woman that you will be proud of, the man or woman that is going to be a role model and leave a legacy of change and hope and thriving and confidence. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Life with Marlene, your Florida vlogger. And you know what I say over here: love your life and live your life. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to the channel members. I appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, check out all of my people who are in blue, especially my content creators. Thank you guys so much. Take care, everybody. And I'm going to try my best to tap in tomorrow. Let's see. Before I go, Roxanne says there's some things I've been wanting to do, and I'm going to be going to book the things myself, and I'm not going to go through the group because it's $1,000 cheaper if I do it. Yeah, go for it, Roxanne. I'm proud of you. I believe in you guys. I believe in you, gems. This is Marlene. I'm your life coach. I'm your Florida vlogger, your motivator, your esthetician. I'm so many things. Your mental health coach, your inspire. I'm here to inspire and to encourage you guys to live your best life. Go out there and live it. Okay, guys, we'll tap in soon. If you're watching in the replay, thank you. And leave me a comment below. Bye-bye, guys. Have a wonderful day.